Hello student, in this video we will study about the chapter number 15, that is of our environment. And as we know that environment is very important for us, and in our life health is most important, and for the being healthy, the environment plays a very important role in our life. Here you can see in the figure, you have a green plant, sky, green tree, you have a plant, green plants. Here you can see in the figure, in that you can feel that all the fresh things are there, because here the very clean air you can see, or you can say clean environment, pollution free environment. If our environment is like that, then and this kind of air we are inhale, then it is good for our health. Now let's see how the environment is help to our health, and which kind of things which cause the environmental pollution, and if we have air for the breathe, and if we have a good air, then it is also ultimately connect with the health. In this chapter we will study about the introduction, component of environment, vast ecosystem, food chain, food van, 10% law, biological magnification, ozone depletion, and the preventing measures. Now we will start the basic introduction, that what is environment. Whatever surrounding us, that is a part of the environment. So we can say that the environment is the sum of total of everything around an organism that we consider as a environment. Our surrounding, the living and the non-living components, or you can say the factor. Now, what is the living and the non-living component? Living means which is you can consider a tree, then human beings, all the organism that we consider as a living component. Whereas the non-living component means the air, temperature, that all we consider as a non-living things. Means the living and the non-living factor influence the environment. Now let's see the biotic components of the environment, that is of abiotic compound and biotic compound. Let's see the first abiotic compound. The abiotic compound means they are non-living factor that affect the environment. It includes the climate factor like a wind, water, light and the temperature, while the physiographical factors like height, slope, etc., and the adiabatic factor like a mineral, soil, texture, soil organism, pH of the soil, these all are factors that we consider as abiotic factor. And these all the factors are also comes under to the environmental component. Now let's see the further one, that is of biotic factors, that is of consider the living things. The biotic component means these are the living factors that affect the environment. It includes the grazing animals, insect, lichens, humans, parasites. These all are comes under to the biotic factors. We already studied about the lichen. Lichen, that is a symbiotic association of the fungi and the algae. Then we consider as a lichen. Whereas the parasitic, it can be exoparasitic or the endoparasitic. Means if the living organism depend on the other, the outside of the body, then we consider as a exoparasitic, and the inside of the body then we consider as a endoparasitic. Here in the picture you can see the both the components are there, the abiotic compound as well as the biotic compound. Like abiotic compound, the sun, sea, these all are the abiotic compound, whereas the biotic factor, here you can say the buffalo, rabbit, trees, plants, these all are comes under to the biotic factors. Atmosphere is also a abiotic component. Means by the biotic and the abiotic component, it comprise the environment. Now the next topic, that is of waste. Waste means the useless or the discarded material which we are not going to use, then we consider as a waste. They may be a gaseous form, liquid form, or the solid form in the latter. Here that you can see in the picture, that in the first picture, all the kitchen waste, you can see these all are the comes under to the solid one, because it is a solid in nature. In the second figure you can see in the liquid form, that is the industrial waste, whereas the chimneys gaseous, the form of the chimneys that we consider as a gaseous waste. So according to useless and the discarded material, the waste is divided into three parts. Now let's see the type of the waste. It is also contain two parts, that is biodegradable and non-biodegradable. The biodegradable means the microorganism break down, means they are able to break down this kind of waste and convert it into this simple form, whereas the non-biodegradable form means the microorganism not able to break down it into the simple form. So we consider as a non-biodegradable, whereas a kitchen waste that comes under to the biodegradable, because the microorganism are able to decompose it, whereas the plastic and the glasses, that all things which microorganism cannot break down, so we consider it into the non-biodegradable substance. Now first we see the biodegradable waste. It is a waste that broken down by the biological process, then it is known as a biodegradable waste, and this process is mainly done by the saprophyte. Sapro means a death and decay organism, like a fungi, bacteria, that comes under to the biodegradable waste. For example, the kitchen waste, sewage, cotton, clothes, etc. These all are comes under to the biodegradable waste. Here you can see in the figure the plant waste and animal waste that we consider as a biodegradable waste. Non-biodegradable waste means these are those which cannot be broken down by the biological process, and you can say which cannot break down by the microorganism, then we consider as a non-biodegradable. For example, plastic, polythene, bags, etc. that we consider under the non-biodegradable. And these all things are also cause the pollution, and which is harmful for human as well and environment too. Now let's see what is the pollution. These non-biodegradable wastes create the environmental pollution. It is a undesirable change in the physical, chemical and the biological characteristic of air, water and the soil. Then we consider as a pollution. And due to the pollution in the environment, the undesirable changes occur, and which ultimately cause the pollution. Here you can see in the figure there is a water pollution is there, then the air pollution. Here you can see from the chimneys lots of forms are arise, and the too many plastic is there, that cause the soil pollution as well. Now, next topic, that is of ecosystem. Ecosystem is actually a structural and functional unit of the biosphere. Our biosphere, in which we are all live, that we consider as a biosphere, or you can say our surrounding where we are living, that is called the biosphere. And this biosphere main structure and the functional unit that we call the ecosystem. And this biosphere is comprised by the two organisms, like a living organism and the non-living factor. Both are interact with the each other. And another thing, that is food chain, that we will study, and the biogeochemical cycle. It is a cycle by which the nutrients it get recycled. So we called as a biogeochemical cycle. So we can say that it is a unit of the structural and the functional unit of the biosphere, and the living and the non-living organism interact with each other and with the food chain and the biological cycle. Here you can see in the figure, it is a example of the ecosystem. In that the non-living thing is also mentioned and the living things also. In the rabbit, then the tree, then the plants, these all are comes under to living things. Whereas in a non-living things, the sun is there, water is there, that is a non-living factor. So these all the things are going to interact with each other and form a biosphere. And biosphere structural and the functional unit, that is of ecosystem. Now, according to types of ecosystem, it is divided into the two types, a natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. The natural things, by the natural things the ecosystem is made, then we consider as a natural ecosystem, like a lake, ponds, forest, etc., that we consider as a natural ecosystem. Whereas here you can see in the first one, the picture of the forest is there. This forest is naturally occur. It is not made by any human beings, or you can say the artificial one. So we consider as a natural ecosystem. Whereas the artificial ecosystem means the garden, crop field, aquarium, these all are comes under to the artificial, because it is a man-made. That's why in the figure you can see it is an artificial ecosystem of the aquarium. So we have two types of ecosystem, natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. In the ecosystem, there are different kinds of organisms are living. Here you can see in the figure that in this kind of ecosystem, there are different categories organism are present. Let's see the different categories of the organism. The first category, that is a producer. The producer means the organism that can make their food by the and these producer it are able to make their food by their own self by the process of photosynthesis, and so we consider as a producer. For example, the all the green plants, because they consist of the green color pigment that called the chlorophyll, and which are able to make their own food, then that is a just because of the they contain the chlorophyll. With the presence of the sunlight, they are able to make their own food. Now the next one, that is of consumers. Consumer means they are not able to make their own food. They are depend for the producer by the directly or the indirectly for the food purpose. Then we consider as a consumer. And in that the herbivores, carnivores and the omnivores, they all are included. Here you can see in the figure. These all the organism are comes under to the consumer, but in that some of are the herbivores, some of are the carnivores and some of that the omnivores. Herbivores means those who are eat the plant, they are feed on the plants, then we consider as a herbivores. They are also called the primary consumers. For example, deer, rabbit, mouse, etc. These all are comes under to the herbivores. Here you can see in the figure there are some other animals which is also comes under to the herbivores like chemicals, giraffe, zebra, camel. These all are also herbivores. They all are plant eaters. Then the carnivores that are actually flesh eater, means they are depend on the animals for their food requirements, means they all are depend on the other animals for the food. For example, frog, jackal, wildcat, etc. are the example of the carnivores. Here you can see in the figure, these all are the carnivores. For example, you can see that the whale, lion, tiger, these all are carnivores. Same like the omnivores. Omnivores means they are feed on the both animals as well as the plant, or you can say the plant or animal or flesh eaters. So we consider as a omnivores. For example, dog, deer, ant, etc. These all organism are comes under to the omnivores, means they are depend on the both plant as well as animal. Same like a parasite, they are those organisms that live on other organism or inside the body, means the endoparasitic and the exoparasitic. Means if they are depend on the other organism, then we consider as a exoparasitic, or inside the body, then we consider as a endoparasitic. They are those that live on other organism body, either on or inside the food, and fulfill its nutritional requirement. Here you can see the lights. They are the human parasite, or you can say it is also ectoparasite, because they are live on the body of the human, so that we consider as lice. And the lice which depend for the food, that we consider as a host, and those who are get the nutrition, then we consider as a parasite. For example, the plasmodium, tapeworm, axaresis, and lice example that we also see. Same like other category, that is of decomposer. Decomposer means that organism which are feed on the death and the decay organic matter, means those who are a death and the things those who are decaying, and things which is made up by the plants and the animals, then we consider as a decomposer. For example, the microorganism, fungi, bacteria, and the worms, that we consider as a decomposer. It is play a most important role because it is a help to cleaning the environment. Or another function, that is it is also help to recycle of the nutrition. Now the next topic, that is a food chain. The first things that what is the food chain? It is the food chain means it is a one kind of process by which eating or the being eating, then we consider as a food chain, means it is the process of eating and the being eaten, then we consider as a food chain. Or other way you can say it is a one kind of sequence, one kind of chain in which the one organism eat the other organism, and the same is eaten by the some other organism. For example, here you can see the plants that are the producer, because they make their own food. That category we consider as a producer. And those animals who feed on the producer, feed on the plants, that's are the herbivores, you can say. Here you can see the grasshopper, they feed on the grass. So these are comes under to the primary consumer, producer, then after primary consumer, and then the grasshopper that is eaten by the bluebird. So that we consider as a secondary consumer. Then after, there is a bluebird is eaten by the snake. So the snake is a tertiary consumer. And the snake which is eaten by the owl, that is the predator, you can say. And these all the things are eaten by the each other, and at the last these all the things are when they are become a death, then it is decomposed by the decomposer, and again this material is get, or you can say is a form of a nutrients, it's taken by the plants. So you can see here one chain is formed. Same like there are several kind of food chain. Maybe it is in a water, in a sea, etc. Now the food chain, as we study that there is a different kinds of organism which all are the belongs to the different categories. A food chain that is generally consists of the producer, that means the organism they make their own food. Then the consumer, the other all the things that comes under to the consumer or the decomposer as well. Now in the whatever the food chain, there are three kinds of the members. One that is a producer, second one the consumer, and the last one that is of decomposer. These three organisms are made the food chain. Now each step of the food chain, that is called the trophic level. For example, the grass, then that is a one kind of trophic level. Then after the grasshopper, that is second trophic level. Then the bluebird, that is third trophic level. So this each step of the food chain that make the level, that is called the trophic level. In the trophic level, which thing is transformed? For example, the grasshopper that is grass that is eaten by the grasshopper. So for that the energy is transferred. Means when the grasshopper eat the grass, then the energy of the some of the energy of the grass that is transferred to the grasshopper. Usually a food chain consists of the 4 to 5 trophic level, because it is a in this chain the energy is transferred, and at the last the energy is almost become a nil. So in the every food chain only 4 to 5 trophic levels are arise. Now the next one, here you can see the food chain are the represented by the drawing like a pyramids, where the different levels are occupied by the different organism as shown in the figure. Here you can see in the figure that is at the base of the pyramid the producer are there, means the green plants. That base it is made up by the producer, those who are making their own food. And then after the primary consumer, secondary consumer, and the last one that is of tertiary. Here if you are see about the trophic level, then the plants are the first trophic level, producer second trophic level, secondary consumer third trophic level, and then the till the 5 trophic level, means 4 to 5. Then after the energies become a nil. So maximum 4 to 5 trophic level is there. Here you can see the one terrestrial food chain are given. In that the green plant is eaten by the deer, and this deer is eaten by the lion. Means the green plants that comes under to the producer, and the deer that is comes under to the consumer, but it is a primary consumer. And then after lion, that is of secondary. Here this food chain is a 3 step. It may be occur a 3, 4 or 5 step. Another example, that grass is eaten by the grasshopper, grasshopper is eaten by the frog, frog is eaten by the snake, and the snake is eaten by the hawk. For example of the aquatic food chain, that all the aquatic plants that are eaten by the zooplankton, and this zooplankton that is eaten by the small fish that is eaten by the large fish. So this is the example of the aquarian food chain. Now the next topic, that is of a food web. food web and food chain, what is the difference between them? As we see that the food chain is occurring one direction only, but in the food web, the one organism that is eaten, or that is a habit of the food, that is of interconnect with each other, or they are dependent on the many organism. Here you can see the plants that is eaten by the grasshopper. Grasshopper, it is eaten by the rat, and rat is eaten by the python, and python is eaten by the eagle. But here you can see this grasshopper is also eaten by the frog, and frog is also eaten by the snakes. Python, you can see, and this python is eaten by the eagle, and this frog is directly eaten by the eagle. Means the two food chain are interlinked with each other. So there are many kinds of food chain which is interact with each other. Then one web-like structure is formed. Then this kind of web-like structure we consider as a food web. It is defined as the interconnected food chain. In this, any organism is eaten by the several organisms. Then we consider as a food web. Now the 10% law, it is very important because many question is asked from this topic. 10% law, what is the 10% law? Means according to it, the energy that gets transferred at each tropic level is only 10% of the energy which is available at the previous level. According to it, here you can see from the sun, the 10% is energy is getting by the plant. Whenever the plant is eaten by the deer, for example, sun is having a 1000 joule of energy. When it is utilized by the plant, then it is only 10% out of it they utilize as a form of energy. Now this plant is eaten by the deer. So the 10 joules of energy, from 10 joule of energy, only 10% energy is transferred. Means the 1 joule energy is available for the food in a herbivorous. For example, 10 into 10 divided by 100 means only 1 joule is transferred from plants to herbivores. Then after, from the 1 joule energy from herbivorous to 10% of the energy it is transferred into the lion. Means 1 joule का हमें 10% करना है. Means the 0.1 joule energy is only transferred into the lion. So here you can see in each tropic level the 10% of energy is only transferred to the other tropic level. It is a 10% of the energy. If the 10% energy which is transferred in each tropic level, and the remaining energy which is a form of environment heat. For example, the deer have a Z energy. This all Z energy is not transferred into the lion. How many energy is transferred? Only 10% energy. And whatever the remain energy which is not transferred into the lion, that is stored as a form of environmental heat. So the actual energy that is transferred, that is of 10% only. Now the next topic, that is of biomagnification, also called the biological magnification. If in the food chain some of the harmful toxic substances are introduced, for example pesticides and the other chemical, fungicide, etc. This kind of pesticide and the fungicide which is controls the pest and the fungi. This kind of pesticides and the fungicide which is absorbed by the plant, when the plant is eaten by the deer, then these all the chemicals also transfer into the deer. Here the energy is transferred, but along with this energy, this all kind of chemical substance, or you can say the harmful substance, toxic substance is also transfer into the deer. But if you are compare the toxicity between the plants and the deer, in the deer it is a increase in amount, because it consists of 1%. If we are talking about the percentage wise, then this kind of harmful substance, it is a highly concentrate into the deer. As compared to deer, the lion is getting a highest, or you can say the more than the deer. So whatever the at the top level, they contain the highest amount of the highest concentration of the toxic substance. It is defined as the increase in the concentration of some of harmful substance at a tropic layer. Sometimes this harmful chemical may enter into the food chain. It is surprising to note that at each step the concentration keeps the more. Now let's see the ozone. It is a molecule of a 3-oxygen, and this is a one kind of layer which is a very important, because it's a protect us from the harmful substance. If anybody says what is the ozone, ozone means it is a protective layer which is present in the atmosphere, and which help us to protect from the harmful UV rays. Now let's see how the ozone is formed. When the UV rays in the upper atmosphere split the oxygen atom, means the O2 comes under to the oxygen OO, means the oxygen molecules is split down and it's splitted into the oxygen atom. Now this single oxygen, which is again further reacted with the oxygen gas, means the O plus O2. For example, here in the environment we have oxygen. When the sun rays is fall on the O2, which is splitted down the oxygen molecule into the oxygen atom. Here we write that oxygen molecules, due to the ultraviolet radiation, it is splitted down into the oxygen atom. This oxygen atom, which is react with the oxygen atom, then it is comes under to, or it is found under the O3, means O2 is reacted with the oxygen, then it's formed the O3, and this O3 is ozone. Here same things are denoted into the figure. Now let's see the next one, that is the ozone, which is a protect us from the ultraviolet ray, and it doesn't allow ultraviolet ray to enters the earth atmosphere. Then if it is enter to the earth, may harm us in a many way. For example, it raises the temperature, so due to that the global warming is arise, and here you can see in the figure, it is also cause the skin disorder, and it is can also cause the eye disorder and the many more kind of disorder which is related to the ozone layer. Now the next one, that is of ozone depletion. What is the meaning of ozone depletion? The ozone depletion means the thinning of a ozone layer by the air pollution, and then it is called the ozone depletion. If the ozone depletion is occur, then what happen? These all the ultraviolet ray that start to comes under to the atmosphere, and these UV rays that cause us, or you can say it is give the adverse effect that we already see. So this is a very serious problem. One of the chemical which is the most responsible for the ozone depletion, that is of a chlorofluorocarbon, that is we known as a CFC, that is chlorofluorocarbon, which is mainly used in a refrigerator and the air conditioner. So due to this CFC, this CFC is fumes which is react with the ozone layer and which is cause the depletion of the ozone. Now the next one, that is Montreal Protocol. What is the Montreal Protocol? Means it is a one kind of protocol which is mainly made by the industrialized nation to prevent the ozone depletion, to prevent the thinning of the ozone layer. Means to freeze the production of the CFC, means the chlorofluorocarbon, and make a use of some alternative of CFC, so the ozone depletion we can stop. It was done into the 1987 by UNEP, means the United Nations Environment Program, and they suggested that instead of using a CFC, we have to use a HFCS, hydrofluorocarbons, and the PFC means the phosphorus fluorocarbon we have to use, so we can minimize the problem of the ozone depletion or the thinning of the ozone. Now the next topic, that is of a garbage. Garbage means it is a refuse or of a fruit, vegetables and the food along with the other domestic waste. These all the things means the refuse of the fruits, vegetables and the other domestic waste. This we consider as a garbage. There are considered as a waste, and there are certain method to dispose it by which we can easily save from the pollution. There are some ways. The first one, that is of a landfill, preparation of the compost. Here you can see in the figure, burning at a high temperature and the production of the biogas and the manure. Here you can see in the figure, there is in the first figure, we can make the manure from the garbage, and this manure which is useful for the field as a form of a fertilizer. This fertilizer is used for the grow or a healthy grow of the plants. Same like the next one, that is of biogas. By using the domestic waste, we produce the fuel, and these fuels we are using for the domestic purpose. If we are using this method, this way to dispose the garbage, then it is ultimately help to our environment. We will see the